Hey PMC fans, what is up? I'm Noah JTRA, also known as the Rockin Aerodactyl, here doing interviews with the Verd, also goes by Dugo.
How dare you? How very dare you?
Alrighty, and he will be the coach of the Tampa Bay Frogadiers. Did I say that correctly?
You certainly did.
Yes, alrighty. So, first off, welcome to Season 2. Happy to have you on board.
It's a pleasure to be back. I'm ready to drop some jabronis on the necks.
Alrighty. So, we're going to begin this with from the beginning. How did you find the PMC? Like, how did you get into it?
I initially found it through a horse named J-Specs. So basically, J-Specs and I were part of a different league that I ended up going on to win. And so then he said, oh, hey, if you're interested, I'm going to start up my own league. It's going to be on Wi-Fi, which I wasn't really used to because I've been doing showdown leagues for ages. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot, and jumped in. And like my first round opponent was an Australian, so it was pretty cool. And obviously, the rest is history.
Nice. So you basically, Jace. So were you season one? I'm sorry, I always forget who was original. Like, you're the original.
Yes, I was a season one original. I actually was a semi-finalist of the first season, and unfortunately, I lost in the semi because I choked very hard.
So you definitely have experience with this league. So what are your thoughts on this league?
I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I had my obvious, kind of, I want to say doubts going into it just because, like, Wi-Fi League, it's not always solid, but honestly, it was a fantastic league. The people were really good with it. Kind of, a few people rubbed me the wrong way, but it's alright. Like, most of the people are very, very good. The league competition was fantastic, and I think it's going to be even better this season. So I'm very excited for it.
Alrighty. That seems to be the following trend. I think this is my fourth interview now, and everyone keeps saying the community, the people. So glad to see that is definitely the common, variable that everyone keeps choosing. So it's happy. It just shows that the BMC community is really that awesome. So next question. So you talked about your experiences with the league and how you got to become part of the PMC. So what do you think of this league's format?
I don't mind it. I think I've already talked to people about where certain Pokemon are tiered and whether they need to be changed or not. I feel, especially looking through the D League, they made it pretty easy to get very good Pokemon, so I think it's definitely going to be adjusted for this season coming up. I think, though, that the format is solid. I thoroughly enjoy playing in it. I think that it is quite balanced, although I'm saying it's easy for people to pick up other stuff. It is a very balanced league, and I feel that it is incredibly competitive, and that's, I think, the thing you want, is that balance and competition that you have in the league, bringing out the best in everybody.
Alrighty. So you talked about how you were with J-Specs, in another league before the PMC. Do you have any other league experience prior to that, or do you care to elaborate more on the league you previously mentioned?
Okay, so at that time, I was Season 1 champion of the UBC, which is United Battle Championship, which J-Specs has been a part of. It's run by Adam the Bee's Knees, who was part of the PMC D League at the time, so that was good. But then I've kind of gone away from that league just because of reasons and whatnot. I've been a part of a lot of other leagues in the past, none really with the magnitude of the UBC, then followed by the PMC. I think the more I get into leagues now, the more substantial it's getting. Currently, though, with my league progress, I have landed myself a role as a major analyst for the NPL, the National Pokeball League, which has a lot of the GBA analysts in it. I am doing trials for other leagues as it stands, so it's definitely, since the UBC, everything's kind of skyrocketed, and the PMC, though, is like the main one that I'm sticking around with. It's the main league that I try and focus on because I enjoy the people in it. I know them all pretty well, but yeah, I've definitely got a lot of league experience behind me.
Awesome. So you talked about you had a lot of experience with battling, I'm assuming, because you're talking about how all these leagues. And by the way, congratulations, that's awesome. So what do you think is your greatest strength when it comes to battling?
I want to say it is my dash and good looks. No. To be fair, my greatest strength, I think, and a lot of people tell me, is my team building. I am known for thinking incredibly outside the box. To win my championship game, I brought a Rest Talk Mega Gyarados with Toxic and Dragon Tail. I brought a physically defensive Poison Point Nidoking to come in against Sableye to poison them. It was like, I don't like using very conventional sets. I think they are not needed. Like, sure, you could just slap a band on something or slap a Choice Specs and it does its job. And sometimes you need that, but a lot of the times, in order to catch your opponents off guard in the counter team format, you need to really think through what you're doing, and that's one of the things that people say is my best quality, is that I really do think through what I need in order to win, and I am normally able to execute that. So definitely team building and drafting are my strengths. Battling, it's alright.
So based on that, I'm looking forward to seeing your matches this season, seeing what kind of teams you'll come up with. Alrighty,
so there's gonna be some fire. Definitely gonna be some fire.
You're saying like fire as in fire types? Is that a hint, or are you saying like, just in general?
Yeah, I'll probably draft a fire type or two at some point.
Well, you have to now. Alrighty. So you talked about your greatest strength, which is to, draft and to team build, which is awesome. A lot of the battle starts before the beginning, the initiation of the battle. It's the team building and preparing and strategy. So that's definitely a really good thing to have as a strength. But what do you think is your greatest weakness when it comes to battling?
I second guess myself a lot, and I don't really explain it too much in the post battle comms, but I'm gonna start doing live comms for next season, and it happens a lot of the time. It's the main reason I lost my semi-final match. I was fearing a 1 in a million set, and because of that, I made a bad play and got punished for it. Whereas, if I'd just gone with my gut and done the right thing, probably would have won the match. So it's those kind of things. Battling wise, I can build the perfect team for an opponent, but it's down to how I use the team, and that's the big issue, is that I just, on a lot of 50-50 decisions, I sometimes make the wrong call, and it will lead to me losing. But other than that, I don't really feel I have melee weaknesses. I'm not really a cocky person, to be fair. I'm pretty humble. It's only when I go into my alter ego form that things get a bit cocky and a bit uncalled for, but he's quite dormant right now. See, I should explain for the people who are watching this. Myself, the Verd, I am the actual, I'm the manager of the team. I draft the team, and I sort out team building, but I've hired somebody else to battle for me. He is my alter ego, the Verd incarnate, and you'll see him later on. He's an interesting gentleman, to say the least.
Alrighty. So, we got the manager with us now, but the player, we will see him in the future.
I mean, if you want to chat to him, I can get him on for a bit, but I mean, it's up to you.
No, you're fine. Maybe we'll bring him in for a few more questions afterwards.
Alright.
So, you talked about how drafting is your biggest strength. Do you have any Pokemon in particular you really must have to draft, or do you have a strategy going into this draft?
I have actually in the past written up drafting guides that I've given to people through the PMC and other leagues, where it's just general things that you want. So obviously right off the bat, if you want to do good at a draft, you're going to need a Fairy Dragon Steel Core. It is probably the most important thing you could have on your team by far. I think the other really important thing to have on your team is just a good sense of balance. It's not just about getting a whole bunch of Pokemon that you know are good in the formats and just chucking together saying, yeah, it's going to be good. There's got to be that level of synergy. It's got to be having enough walls, but also enough offense so that you can break your opponent's team. So for me, balance is the big thing. If you don't have balance, then your team isn't going to be able to really gel. And there's no real certain Pokemon that I'd say, yeah, I'm going to select that every time, because I never really know what my draft placement's going to be. So I can't just lock in a pick straight away. It's more just choosing the right time to get the right thing. So knowing, if you want a fast electric type, you're probably going to have to get that earlier than later, because there's not many of them. They're going to go quick. So you've got to, play it really smart. And so, I mean, my advice, definitely the biggest one, is just prioritizing your draft. If you just go in saying, I want all these things, but I don't know when I'm going to get them, then you're probably not going to get 75% of the things you want. So definitely definitely my advice. I don't have a certain Pokemon though that I'm penciling in. I know what I want to get, but I don't know if I'm going to get it yet, so I'm not going to declare like, yeah, this is definitely mine.
Yeah,
You have to wait and see with the draft if I get it or not.
You got it. So let's talk about another Pokemon though. Do you have a Pokemon that you feel is very overrated? Like, what is the most overrated Pokemon in the league format, in your opinion?
You know what? I bet every single person you've interviewed so far said Mew. I bet like a solid amount of money.
I believe only one person I said Mew, actually. I believe it was Deepad Gamer that said Mew.
I've had so many people that I've interviewed in the past different leagues say Mew is overrated. I really can't agree with that. I just can't. It's a Pokemon, sure, base 100 speed doesn't seem that great, but the fact that it can do any role is just incredible. So I think that's the big thing that people forget, is they say like, oh, it's overrated, it shouldn't be a first round pick because, it's not really that versatile, when in truth it is probably the most versatile Pokemon you will ever find in the game. So I think people saying that's overrated is really annoying. The big one for me that I actually feel gets overrated a lot, and I'm not really too big of a fan of it, is actually Rotom Wash. Main reason for me not being a super big fan of Rotom Wash is because it's just very, very generic. There's no real way to use Rotom Wash in a way that's going to surprise your opponent. Like, sure, you can chuck on the sneaky Sucker Punch. That's great. I've seen a million guys try it. It doesn't really work that great. Shadow Ball's okay-ish, but basically you're locked into the fact that you're probably going to have Hydro, you're probably having Volt Switch or Thunderbolt, and then you're having like Willow, Pain Split, Trick, Hex, whatever you want to run on this Rotom. There's not really a lot of creativity. Its typing is nice, but it's also an incredibly passive Pokemon. It's not really designed to be a wall breaker. It doesn't really work too well as a wall breaker because pretty much any bulky grass can make Rotom Wash its bitch. So I just feel that when it comes to bulky water types, it's not something that I would ever really consider investing in, just because I feel that it's just... I feel that you would be better off just getting a bulky water that can take hits but also dish out bigger damage, and then a fast electric type. I just feel Rotom is just a very, very awkward pick. I don't understand why people hype it up so much, in my opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion, in VGC 2015, Rotom Wash was great, but in single format, which I'm still new to, I feel like it's really only good for switch-ins, but that's pretty much it. Being able to, like, if you need to take, because it's generally bulky, but I definitely see where you're coming from. You also mentioned Mew, and again, not much experience with Mew, but I do also find that it's actually, like you said, it can be very versatile, because it can use every TM, so it can literally be a Will-O-Wisp setter upper, it can be a staller, or it can be a semi-offensive mon. So I do like that you mentioned that. So next up is, we just talked about the most overrated Pokemon in your opinion, which you chose to be Rotom Wash. What do you feel is the most underrated Pokemon in this league format?
One that I used last season, I'm not saying it's very underrated because it really depends on your opponents, and this is not trash talking on the regards of the people that I went up against. This is more just in general. So to the back end of the season, I picked up a Pokemon called Alomomola. Now, I brought it to my last 4 matches of the regular season, and in those 4 matches, I picked up 8 kills.
Ooh.
It ended up being actually my leading kill getter for only 4 matches being brought, because I share the kills around my team. I'm not that kind of person that really cares about the MVP race. I would rather win than do the MVP race, if you know what I mean. So it was just really surprising because, like, Miracle is an amazing move. Its bulk is incredible, Regenerate is amazing, and its array of moves is really nice, like Wake Up, Slap, and Knock Off and all that. So I found that a really solid Pokemon to use. It is very underrated because, again, it's a bulky water that doesn't actually hit very hard. Like, it has base 75 attack, base 45 special attack, but I think it's the way you use it that makes it better. So, like, for me, my classic set with it was like Knock Off, Mirror Coat, a water move, and then whatever coverage move you needed at the time, and I just run an Assault Vest. That way I could eat up the electric hit, and then just go straight for the Mirror Coat to blow something away. So there were options like that. It worked out quite well for me late game. The issue with Alomomola is, although it is underrated, it is also very easy to prepare for. Any Pokemon with a substitute can pretty much destroy an Alomomola, because it doesn't really have that power behind it to break the sub, and I found out the hard way when my opponent in the semi-final brought a substitute Sylveon, which I actually predicted and still choked the game, so that was really unfortunate. But I do think Alomomola is incredibly underrated. The other one I think is incredibly underrated is Emboar, another Pokemon that I use. It's just everybody thinks about Infernape and all these other fire types, but Emboar is a fantastic nuke. Reckless Flare Blitz is insane. I did a -1 Flame Plate Flare Blitz to a Mega Manectric and it OHKO'd it. Just straight up. Even at -1, the power is real. And
awesome.
Although it is slow, I get it's very slow, but I think the fact that it can do that much damage, it can't be, forgotten about. You can't just assume like, oh yeah, it's alright, it's not really that great, but it just does so well in this format. And I think definitely Alomomola and Emboar are two things to seriously consider for a team, because they do get picked, but it's very late on, but you need to understand like they are very underrated when they can be very, very good.
Wow, I did not see those months coming, but wow, really insightful actually. I did not know that you could do that much damage with a -1 Emboar. Wow. Alrighty, so you're clearly a very experienced player when it comes to the league format and being a Season 1 original. Do you have any expectations for yourself going into Season 2?
I mean, the expectation I always have going into a league is I just want to make playoffs. If I can get through the regular season knowing that I had a positive record, that's pretty much good for me. Like, for the coach, he wants to win every game, and that's fine. I understand that. He's got a lot of confidence. But for me, as long as we can keep a positive record with the teams this season, I think also the big thing for me is just with the draft, making sure that I get pretty much the exact things I want. I don't have like a concrete idea of exactly every single element that I want for my team, but I have an understanding of all the roles that I want filled. So if every role can get filled with the team by the end of the draft, I'm going to be pretty happy. So really, I think for now, my expectation is just to get a decent draft, get into these battles, and then just try and actually not overthink, smash these battles out, and I know I can get the wins that I want to get myself into playoffs. I think the competition is going to be tough this season, but a lot of these guys, I've faced them before, 2 times even, and I've beaten them both times, so I definitely just got to put my best foot forward, and we'll see what happens.
Alright, now the next question is probably going to be one for your alter ego, your coach.
Alright, hold on, let me just... What do you want?
Hello. Quick question for you. What is your inspiration when it comes to your battling style? Do you have a player or a specific someone that inspires you to become a better player?
I'm going to answer that question with another question.
Alright.
How are you doing today, Rockin Aerodactyl?
You sort of being...
It doesn't matter how you're doing. Now, listen up, jabronis. The Verd Incarnate is back for another season of the PMC. Last season, your boy made it all the way to the semi-finals. What did he do? He choked on all the dicks. And now we're in this situation where we can't be called champion. That ain't gonna do the coach or the manager. No, the manager, he's like, oh, I don't care if we don't win. That's just bullshit. We're gonna win every single match, and that's gonna happen. Now, inspirations. You want to know inspirations? That's fine. Every single WWE wrestler except for Hornswoggle is my inspiration. I think of myself like a young Dwayne Johnson, an old Hulk Hogan, and a young Steve Austin. So I got the moxie, I got the bravado, I got the beastly figure, definitely got the six-pack. Yeah, totally. Yeah, got it. Anyway, the point is, my inspiration is myself. I know that I am the best in this league, and I'm going to come through and smash all these jabronis, and that's the bottom line, because the Verd said so.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Verd Incarnate. Have a good day.
What did you say to me? What did you... yeah, I'm sorry about that. He came a little bit riled up. He's excited for the season. He is very excited for the season.
Yeah, he's very animated.
Yeah.
Alright, so we just thank you for your time. I just have one final question. Who will be our PMC champion for Season 2?
You know what? I know people obviously are going to be all selfless and be like, oh, it's not going to be me. I think I'm going to do well, but, I think it's just going to be this guy because he's got a really good chance this season and all that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, at the end of the day, we all think we're going to win because we need to have that confidence in ourselves, or else there's literally no point doing this. I get that people are saying like, yeah, I want to do this to have fun, but at the end of the day, it is a competitive environment, so you need to play to win. And so obviously I back myself, and obviously my coach definitely backs himself 110%.
I believe he would agree with you, yes.
Yeah, but when it comes to everybody else, I think honestly, for me, my main competition is probably going to be Lucky again. He was the guy that beat me in the semi-finals, unfortunately. J-Spec should have a better season this time around. I think Cloud, again, is going to be a very, very tough opponent. I think Sharpeeno definitely will improve his season if he gets put in a better group. So he's not getting... It was so unfortunate, man. Last season, he had a better record than about 75% of the people in the league, but because he was in the same division as Lucky and I, he couldn't go through. It was really, really unfortunate for him. But I think definitely heading into the season, I see everybody as a challenge. I can't really say who I think's going to win. I think everybody has an equal chance because we don't know, like, a lot of these people, I've never, like, not, a few of these people I haven't battled before, so I don't really know how good they can truly be, and I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen. So we'll have to wait and see, but I'm definitely looking forward to the challenges that await me, and I honestly hope that anybody wins. I mean, obviously that's going to happen. Somebody's going to have to win. I do hope it is me, but I just want good competition. There's nothing better than good competition with good people.
Alrighty, that was definitely the most... We haven't had an answer like that, so I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, guys, thank you for watching, and again, thank you to the Verd and the Verd Incarnate for coming out and answering our questions. Good luck, and I'm looking forward to the teams you'll be building based on your team building. So thank you again, and y'all viewers at home, hope you all are enjoying these interviews and are as hyped for the PMC Season 2 as I am. Hope to see you on the next video. Bye, guys.
Peace.